From Zero to Unstoppable, Rise with Relentless Drive, written and published by Echo Elevate. Introduction. You weren't born with all the answers, you weren't handed a map. But here you are, still standing, still searching, still hungry for more. And that's where real transformation begins. This book is not about luck. It's not about shortcuts. It's about what happens when you start with nothing, no fame, no connections, no clear plan, and decide to build something powerful from the ground up. From Zero to Unstoppable is your personal guide through that journey. Whether you're stuck in doubt, facing failure, or simply tired of feeling average, this book is for you. It's for the ones who've been counted out, overlooked, underestimated. It's for the ones who feel invisible today but refuse to stay that way. Here's the truth. You don't need permission to rise. You need a strategy. You need clarity. You need to understand the mindset, the habits, and the systems that turn ordinary people into unstoppable forces. Each chapter in this book is designed to give you that edge. We'll start with mindset, because everything begins there. We'll move into discipline, daily actions, and the real work that creates lasting change. You'll learn how to protect your energy, master your routine, and build confidence that no one can take from you. You won't just hear stories. You'll gain tools. You'll walk away with steps you can apply. Simple, actionable, proven. This isn't theory. It's transformation. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to show up. And if you're listening to this right now, you've already started. Let's begin your journey, from zero to unstoppable. Chapter 1. The Power of a Clear Decision. Let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever reached a point where something inside you just snapped? Not in anger, not in defeat, but in clarity. That moment when you realized, I can't keep living like this. Or even more powerful, I don't want this version of me anymore. That's not just frustration, that's the seed of change. And it starts with a decision, not a wish, not a vague goal, not a New Year's resolution scribbled on a napkin. A real decision, a clear one that cuts through excuses like a blade. The moment everything changed. Let me take you back to a cold Tuesday morning. A man named Marcus sat in his small apartment, surrounded by unpaid bills and takeout containers. His phone buzzed again. Another job rejection. His stomach turned, not from hunger, but from hopelessness. Then something happened. He stood up, walked to the bathroom, looked himself in the mirror, and said, I'm done being this guy. He didn't have a 5-step plan. He didn't know what the next year would bring, but he made a decision, and that decision marked the turning point. Marcus began reading daily. He picked up side jobs. He exercised in his living room, and slowly, day by day, his life started to shift. What changed first wasn't his environment. It was his resolve. Why most people stay stuck. Here's the harsh truth. Most people never change because they never decide to. They stay interested in change, but they're not committed. They say things like, I want to be successful someday. I need to get in shape. I really should start saving money, but someday never comes. Should never becomes must. A clear decision turns I want into I will. It removes confusion. It silences the noise. Until your decision is firm, your effort will always be flimsy. Clarity creates power. When you make a clear decision, you do something powerful. You stop negotiating with your excuses. Clarity doesn't mean you know every step. It means you know your direction. You know what you're no longer willing to tolerate, and you know what matters most right now. Decisions remove doubt. They give shape to your identity, and identity drives action. If you believe you're someone who finishes what they start, your actions begin to reflect that belief. But it all starts with a line in the sand. This is who I was, and this is who I choose to become. The cost of indecision. There's a hidden cost to waiting, to staying unsure, to being halfway in and halfway out. It looks like procrastination. It feels like anxiety, and it leads to burnout without progress. Every day you hesitate, your energy leaks. You spend time overthinking instead of executing. You chase too many goals and complete none. But when you decide, really decide, your energy aligns, your focus sharpens, and things start to move. What a real decision looks like. A real decision is not a mood. It's not based on motivation. It's based on commitment. Let's say you decide to wake up at 6 a.m. every day to work on your business. A clear decision doesn't ask, do I feel like it? It simply does it, because the decision was already made. You don't redecide every morning. You just execute the plan you've already chosen. And that's the power of clarity. It removes the emotional tug of war. It frees your brain to focus on what matters. How to make that decision today. If you're still listening, there's probably something you're tired of, something that feels heavy, a pattern you want to break. Start here. What are you no longer willing to accept? Maybe it's mediocrity. Maybe it's chaos. Maybe it's the way you talk to yourself. Now ask, who do I choose to become from this point forward? Not in 5 years. Not when you feel ready. Now. Write it down. Say it out loud. Make it real. Then build your behavior to match it. Real-world proof. The one decision pivot. Think of J.K. Rowling. She was a single mom, broke, living on welfare, but she made one decision to finish her book. No one believed in her, but she believed in that choice. That one decision led to rejections. But she didn't quit. It took time. It took pain. But that one decision changed the world of literature forever. Your decision might not be public. It doesn't have to be. It just has to be clear. And yours. Final thoughts. Choose powerfully. You don't have to fix everything today. You don't need to be perfect. But you do need to decide who you're becoming. Because nothing changes until you change. And nothing changes in you until you decide. So here's your moment. Right here. Right now. Are you ready to leave zero behind? Then don't just listen. Decide. Choose powerfully. Commit completely. And let's begin the journey to unstoppable. Chapter 2. Mindset over everything. What if I told you the biggest difference between where you are now and where you want to be is how you think? Not your background, not your education, not even your current situation. Your mindset, the way you see yourself, the way you view problems, the way you interpret failure, is the foundation of everything that follows. You can have the best tools, the best strategy, and the best connections. But if your mindset is broken, none of it will last. The story we tell ourselves. Here's something powerful. The story you tell yourself shapes your reality. If you say, I'm not good enough, you'll act like it. If you say, I always mess things up, you'll find proof. If you say, success just isn't for people like me, you'll never even try. But flip the script. I'm learning. I figure things out. I'm getting better every day. Suddenly, your world shifts. Your actions rise to match your beliefs. And the moment your belief changes, your results start to change too. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Let's break it down. A fixed mindset says, I am who I am. I can't change. A growth mindset says, I can learn. I can improve. I'm capable of more. People with a fixed mindset avoid challenges. They fear failure. They give up easily. But those with a growth mindset, they lean in. They treat mistakes as feedback. They stay curious. They stay hungry. The person who grows the most isn't the smartest. It's the one who's willing to learn, again and again. And the good news? Mindset is not fixed. You can train it. How mindset shapes your reality. Think of your mindset like the lens on a camera. It doesn't change the world itself, but it changes how you see it. Two people can go through the same struggle. One gets bitter. The other gets better. One sees the obstacle as a wall. The other sees it as a lesson. Mindset won't make life perfect, but it will determine how you show up in life, especially when it's not perfect. The danger of the I'll be happy when trap. A lot of people fall into this silent trap. They say things like, I'll be confident when I lose weight. I'll be proud of myself when I make more money. I'll feel successful when I get noticed. But that mindset keeps happiness on hold. It turns life into a waiting game, and it teaches your brain that you're not enough yet. Here's the shift. You don't become happy after success. You become successful because you're already living with intention, with belief, and with a growth mindset. Start where you are. Build as you go. Flip the mental switch. Want to change your mindset? Start by noticing your inner dialogue. Catch yourself in the act. When your mind says, this is too hard, pause. Respond with, this is how I grow. When it says, I'm not ready, say, I'm starting anyway. When it says, I've failed too many times, remind yourself, I've learned more than most. It sounds small, but these flips matter. They build strength. They build mental habits. And over time, they build a mindset that's unstoppable. He didn't win races in school, but he had one thing, belief. He trained in silence. He told himself every day, I am an athlete. He visualized himself crossing the finish line. He didn't let losses break him. He studied his mistakes. He improved. Years later, he qualified for nationals, not because he was the most talented, but because his mindset never quit. He trained his body, yes, but he trained his mind first. What you believe about yourself becomes your baseline. If you believe you're disciplined, you'll act with discipline. If you believe you're resilient, you'll push through hard days. If you believe you're capable, you'll take more risks. That's why changing your mindset isn't just about motivation, it's about identity. So ask yourself, who are you choosing to be today? Not based on your past, not based on what people say, but based on your decision to grow. Mindset in action. Daily practices. Here are 3 simple ways to build a powerful mindset. 1. Start with intentional language. Each morning, say one positive thing out loud about yourself, even if it feels small. Words shape belief. 2. Practice reframing. When a problem shows up, stop. Then ask, what is this here to teach me? 3. Keep promises to yourself, even tiny ones, like drinking water, waking up on time, finishing what you start. Every promise kept strengthens your identity. Final thoughts. Train the mind first. You can't build an unstoppable life with a defeated mind. Your skills matter, your habits matter, but it's your mindset that gives them power. So train your thoughts like you'd train your body. Feed them good input, exercise them daily, and protect them from negativity. Because when your mind is right, no setback can stop you, no failure can define you, and no one can limit what you become. Your next level doesn't start with your hands. It starts with your head. So choose wisely, think powerfully, and move forward, one clear belief at a time. Chapter 3. Discipline is your superpower. Everyone talks about motivation, but here's the truth. No one tells you. Motivation fades. It's unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. And if you only act when you feel like it, you'll never build anything that lasts. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is not loud. It's not flashy. It doesn't beg for attention. But make no mistake, discipline is a superpower. It's doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. It's the quiet voice that says, I'll show up anyway. I'll follow through. I'll keep my word to myself. It's not about punishment. It's about alignment. It's about choosing your long-term goals over short-term moods. Why discipline matters more than talent. Talent is great, but talent without discipline is wasted potential. Think of someone who's gifted, but never consistent. They start strong. They talk big, but they never finish. Now think of someone less gifted, but steady. They show up daily. They keep learning. They don't quit. Guess who wins in the end? It's not the one who started fastest. It's the one who kept going when it got hard. That's the edge discipline gives you. It keeps you moving forward when motivation disappears. Real story, the 5 a.m. rule. There's a woman named Layla. She worked full-time, had 2 kids, and wanted to write a book. No one believed she had time. But Layla made a decision. She set her alarm for 5 a.m. every single day. She wrote for 1 hour before anyone else woke up. No applause, no instant success. But day by day, word by word, chapter by chapter, she finished her book. Not because she had more time, but because she had more discipline. The book was later picked up by a publisher. But the real victory happened at 5 a.m. In the dark, with no audience. Just her and her decision to follow through. The discipline motivation trap. Here's where most people get stuck. They wait for motivation to act. Then they wonder why they keep falling off track. Discipline works the opposite way. You act first. The feeling comes later. Let me repeat that. You don't wait to feel motivated. You take action. And the motivation catches up. The real secret is this. Discipline creates momentum. And momentum creates belief. Discipline is a muscle. Like any muscle, discipline gets stronger with use. Start small. Wake up when your alarm goes off. Drink water before coffee. Do 1 more rep. Write for 10 minutes. Clean 1 part of the room. These aren't life-changing acts by themselves. But done consistently, they shape who you are. They send a message to your brain. I follow through. I finish what I start. I am the kind of person who shows up. And once your identity changes, your results follow. Discipline and freedom. It sounds strange, but it's true. Discipline leads to freedom. When you're disciplined with your money, you gain financial freedom. When you're disciplined with your time, you gain schedule freedom. When you're disciplined with your health, you gain energy freedom. Most people think freedom is doing whatever you want, but real freedom is doing what matters without being a prisoner to your impulses. Discipline gives you control, and control gives you options. That's what freedom really is, having options. Build a system, not just willpower. Discipline gets easier when you build a system. Set routines, use checklists, eliminate distractions, make the right choice the easy choice. If you want to eat better, remove junk food from the house. If you want to work out, pack your gym bag the night before. If you want to write daily, schedule it on your calendar. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about designing your environment to support your goals. Because willpower is limited. But systems carry you, even on the hard days. What to do when you slip. Discipline doesn't mean you never fall. It means you get back up faster. Missed a day? Get back on track. Skipped a workout? Don't wait for Monday. Broke a promise to yourself? Forgive fast. Restart strong. You are not your mistakes. You are the pattern you commit to. And one slip doesn't erase the progress you've made. What matters most is your return rate, how quickly you realign with your purpose. Daily practice. Strengthen your discipline. Want to build discipline that sticks? Here's a 3-step process. 1. Choose one non-negotiable. Pick something small, something daily. This is your anchor. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's walking for 10 minutes. Stick to it, no matter what. 2. Track your wins. Use a calendar, a notebook, an app. Seeing your progress builds pride. Pride fuels consistency. 3. Reward consistency, not intensity. It's not about how hard you go. It's about how often you show up. The goal is rhythm, not burnout. Final thoughts. Let discipline define you. Here's the truth most people avoid. Talent fades. Luck runs out. But discipline lasts. It's the foundation of greatness. It's the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. So choose to be that person. The one who keeps their word. The one who does the work, especially when no one's watching. Because when you master discipline, you don't just become consistent. You become unstoppable. Chapter 4. Use pain as fuel. Pain is a part of life. You can't escape it. You can't avoid it. But you can choose what to do with it. Pain will either become your prison or your power. And in this chapter, you'll learn how to turn pain into fuel, not just to survive, but to rise. Pain is a message, not a punishment. Most people see pain as punishment, a sign that something is wrong, a reason to quit, complain, or give up. But here's a new way to look at it. Pain is feedback. It tells you what matters. It reveals where growth is needed. And if you listen closely, it points you toward transformation. When you stop running from pain and start learning from it, everything changes. The story behind the strength. Every strong person has a story. And at the center of that story there's pain, abandonment, loss, failure, rejection, betrayal, disappointment. These moments didn't break them, they built them. The reason you admire their strength today is because they didn't numb the pain. They didn't deny it. They faced it. They felt it. And they used it. Pain became the weight that made them stronger. Real story: the fired employee who built a business. Let's talk about Eli. He worked at the same company for 10 years, showed up early, stayed late, loyal, committed, hardworking. One Monday he was called into a meeting. No warning, no thank you, just this: we're letting you go. Eli was crushed. He felt betrayed, humiliated, afraid. But he didn't let that pain rot. He turned it into drive. He took every skill he learned on the job and started his own service company from home. Worked around the clock, made calls, sent emails, knocked on doors. It wasn't easy, but he pushed through. And 2 years later, he hired his former manager's old boss. That's what happens when pain meets purpose. That's the fire you can't fake. Your pain has a purpose, if you choose one. Pain alone doesn't create growth. It's what you do with the pain. Some people carry it forever like a weight. Others turn it into work ethic, focus, and fuel. Ask yourself, what am I learning from this? What strength is being developed in me? What will I build with the pain I've experienced? It's not about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about choosing not to waste it. The energy of emotion. Pain holds energy. So does anger. So does sadness. So does heartbreak. You can use that energy to destroy yourself, or to rebuild yourself. Let's be real. Some of the most powerful breakthroughs happen right after the breakdown. The moment you get sick of being stuck. The moment you're done being overlooked. The moment you say no more. That energy is sacred. Channel it. Direct it. Use it to drive something meaningful. The trap of suppressed pain. Ignoring pain doesn't make it go away. It makes it grow in the dark. Suppressed pain shows up in procrastination. It hides inside overthinking. It disguises itself as burnout, rage, or apathy. The strongest people are not the ones who feel nothing. They're the ones who felt it all and moved forward anyway. You don't need to be emotionless to be unstoppable. You just need to let your emotions push you, not paralyze you. How to turn pain into power. Let's get practical. Here are 3 ways to use pain as fuel. 1. Write it down. Get it out of your head. Put the pain on paper. Give it shape. This is how you take back control. Create from it. Build something. Start a business. Write a song. Train your body. Design your future. Let the pain give your actions urgency and depth. 3. Help someone else. Nothing heals you faster than helping someone in the same storm. Turn your scars into someone else's survival guide. You don't need revenge. You need results. And results are the best response to pain. Redefining the narrative. You are not your past. You are not what happened to you. But you are what you decide to do with it. You can turn pain into bitterness or into brilliance. You can let it be your excuse or your reason. You can let it break you or build you. It's your choice. Final thoughts. Light the fire. Here's the truth. Every great comeback begins in a moment of pain, and that moment is not your end. It's your ignition. You've been through things others wouldn't understand. You've felt lows that no one saw, but you're still here, and that means you're not done yet. So take the pain, take the fire, take the anger, take the tears, and use them. Fuel your mission, fuel your discipline, fuel your rise, because when you use pain the right way, nothing can stop you. Chapter 5. Build before you show. We live in a world obsessed with visibility. Show your success, post your progress, document every move. But here's the truth that no one wants to say out loud. Real greatness is built in silence. The most powerful work happens when no one is watching. The strongest foundations are laid far from the spotlight. And if you want to become unstoppable, you have to build before you show. And with it, an illusion. You see the highlight reels, the finished product, the awards, the applause. What you don't see are the late nights, the sacrifices, the failures, the doubts. You see the performance, but not the process. That's the trap. If you chase applause before you build skill, you'll crumble under the pressure. Why private work builds public confidence. Confidence doesn't come from compliments. It comes from competence. And competence is built in quiet, when you're learning, when you're failing, when you're showing up even when no one cares. Think of a musician. Before the concert, there were hours of lonely practice. Before the stadium, there was a garage, an empty room, a busted guitar. Every expert was once unknown. Every master was once invisible. And their power came from what they built, when no one was clapping. The silent phase is sacred. Don't rush your quiet season. That's where the roots grow. That's where the real work happens. Where you get clear, where you get strong. In the silence, you find your voice. In the background, you build your backbone. This phase isn't punishment. It's preparation. Real story, the artist who stayed hidden. Jenna was a painter, but for years she didn't post her art, didn't sell it, didn't show anyone. She gave herself time to grow, without pressure. When she finally did share her work, it was powerful, polished, ready. Today her art is sold worldwide, but she'll tell you her real success wasn't the gallery. It was the courage to build in private, long before the world was watching. The dangers of premature exposure. When you show too soon, you start performing. You make decisions to impress, not to improve. And when you perform too early, you build a brand before you build depth. You build image before you build substance. And that's dangerous. Because when challenges hit, image won't carry you. Substance will. So give yourself permission to be unknown while you prepare to become undeniable. Focus on depth, not applause. Here's the secret most people miss. Depth creates impact. Don't just sound smart. Become smart. Don't just look fit. Build real health. Don't just post progress. Live the process. When you focus on depth, you don't chase attention. You attract it. And when the moment comes to show your work, you'll be ready. Not just to impress, but to deliver. Build like a mountain. A mountain doesn't grow overnight. It rises inch by inch, layer by layer, stone by stone. And before anyone sees the peak, the base must be strong. Your journey is the same. You're building a life, a mindset, a mission. It will take time. It will take solitude, but it will be worth it. So don't fear the slow growth. Fear shallow progress. Daily practice. Build in silence. Here's how to stay focused in your quiet season. 1. Set a private goal. Something just for you. No posting, no sharing, just progress. 2. Track your effort, not your exposure. Ask, did I show up today? Not, did they notice? 3. Protect your focus. Avoid comparison. Mute the noise. Stay on your path. Growth is happening, even if no one sees it yet. Final thoughts. The hidden work is the real work. You don't have to prove anything right now. You just have to build in private, in silence, in full commitment to who you're becoming. Because when you build before you show, you're not just chasing success, you're earning it. So let the world sleep on you. Let them overlook you. That's fine. Just keep building, keep sharpening, keep rising. And when the time comes to show, you won't need to explain. Your results will speak for themselves. Chapter 6. The Confidence Loop. Confidence doesn't just appear. It's not something you're born with, and it's not something someone can give you. Confidence is something you build, step by step, action by action, day by day. It's not magic, it's not luck, it's a loop, a process, a powerful one. And once you understand the loop, you can use it to change everything. What confidence really is. Most people think confidence is standing tall, speaking loudly, taking charge, but real confidence goes deeper. It's the quiet belief, I can handle this. It's the steady voice in your head that says, I've been here before, I've grown through worse, I'll figure it out. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's certainty in your ability to adapt. It's trusting yourself to show up, regardless of the outcome. The confidence loop explained. Let's break it down. There are 3 parts to the confidence loop. 1. You take action. 2. That action creates experience. 3. Experience builds belief, and belief leads to more action, which leads to more experience, which leads to stronger belief. That's the loop. Action, row experience, belief, repeat. Most people wait until they feel confident to act, but that's backwards. Confidence is the result of action, not the requirement. Real story, the shy speaker. Let's talk about Ray. Ray hated public speaking. His hands would shake, his voice would crack. He avoided every opportunity to speak up. But deep down, he wanted to lead. He wanted to inspire others. So he started small. First, he volunteered to speak in team meetings. Then he joined a local speaking group. He practiced, he failed, he improved. And with every speech, something changed. His belief grew. Not because someone told him he was good, but because he showed himself what he could do. That's the loop in action. Why most people never build confidence. They wait. They hope confidence will show up on its own. They think, once I'm ready, I'll start. But here's the hard truth. You won't feel ready ever. You have to start anyway. You build readiness through motion. You build courage through movement. And confidence follows. Always. Your brain needs proof. Confidence isn't built by thinking. It's built by proof. When you follow through on a goal, when you keep a promise to yourself, when you face fear and take the step anyway, your brain stores that moment, and that moment becomes a new reference point. I did that, I can do it again. Confidence becomes a stack of small wins. Not loud, not dramatic, just consistent action. Fear lives in inaction. Fear feeds on delay. The longer you wait, the louder it gets. But the moment you take a step, just one, you take back control. Action shrinks fear, and even if the result isn't perfect, you gain power, because now you've moved, now you've started. And that's more than most people ever do. Strengthen the loop, every day. Want to build unshakable confidence? Start with daily action. Not big, just real. Speak up, try something new, ask the question, make the call, show up early, finish the task. These choices seem small, but they're feeding the loop, they're creating evidence, and that evidence becomes your power. You go from, I can't do this, to I'm figuring it out. Then eventually, I'm someone who shows up. I'm someone who takes risks. I'm someone who delivers. And identity is where real confidence lives, not in what you say, but in what you believe about who you are. What to do when you doubt yourself. Everyone faces doubt. Everyone questions themselves. Even the most confident people you admire. The difference is, they move anyway. So when doubt shows up, try this. 1. Pause. Breathe. Don't overthink. 2. Ask yourself, what's one small step I can take right now? 3. Do it. No delay, no debate. That one step reactivates the loop. And before you know it, confidence is back. Not because you eliminated fear, but because you acted despite it. That's real power. Final thoughts. Step into the loop. You don't need more confidence to begin. You need to begin to build more confidence. It's not about being fearless. It's about being willing. Willing to show up. Willing to try. Willing to stumble and keep going. The loop is always open, but only the brave enter. And once you step in, you'll discover something powerful. You've had what it takes all along, you just needed to prove it to yourself. So take the step, start the loop, and let confidence catch up, because the moment you begin, you're no longer waiting to believe. You're becoming the kind of person who does. Chapter 7. Master the boring work. Let's get real. Success isn't always exciting. In fact, most of it is boring. Not because it lacks meaning, but because it requires doing the same simple things over and over again. Without applause, without fireworks, without anyone cheering you on. The truth is, people don't fail because they can't do the work. They fail because they get bored doing the right work. In the world of social media, success looks glamorous, big wins, big breakthroughs, constant growth. But behind every breakthrough is a long, boring stretch of repetition. Athletes do the same drills. Musicians play the same scales. Entrepreneurs send the same emails. Writers face the same blank page. The highlight reel hides the grind. But the grind is what creates the highlight. Why the boring work matters. The boring work is where greatness is made. Why? Because it builds mastery. It builds rhythm. And most of all, it builds trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in your process. Trust that your actions are creating something valuable, even when you can't see it yet. Real story. The warehouse worker who practiced in secret. Derek worked in a warehouse by day, but he wanted to become a programmer. So every night he opened his laptop. Same course. Same coding exercises. Same coffee. It wasn't thrilling. It wasn't glamorous. No one noticed. No one cared. But he kept going. 2 hours a night. Every night. For 9 months. He didn't post about it. He didn't tell many people. He just did the boring work. Today, he's a full-time developer, making more than double what he earned at the warehouse. All because he stayed committed, through the boredom. Why boredom is a test? Here's something most people never realize. Boredom is a test of belief. When things feel slow, your mind asks, is this even working? Why bother? Shouldn't I be seeing more results by now? And that's the moment that separates winners from quitters. The ones who succeed, they keep going. Not because it's exciting, but because they trust the process. They know that boredom is part of the path, not a sign to stop, but a sign they're on the right track. The compound effect of boring things. Want a secret? The tiny actions that seem boring today are the exact ones that will create your future. Reading for 10 minutes, stretching every morning, sending one extra email, practicing one more rep, reviewing your goals each night. Done once, not impressive. Done daily, life-changing. Because success isn't created in a single moment. It's created through compounding discipline, and compounding only works when you stay consistent. Learning to love the process. So how do you stay committed to boring work? Here's how. 1. Focus on the process, not just the prize. Fall in love with getting better, with showing up, with building something, brick by brick. 2. Track your consistency. When you can't see results yet, track your effort. A streak, a journal, a calendar. Watch your follow-through grow. 3. Remind yourself why you started. Boredom fades when purpose is clear. Keep your why front and center. Training like a pro. Here's what separates amateurs from professionals. Amateurs work when they feel like it. Professionals work because it's time. They don't chase excitement. They chase execution. That's how athletes train. That's how builders build. That's how creators create. The pros know. You don't need to feel inspired to be effective. You just need to do the work. Real confidence comes from repetition. Want to be confident? Want to be ready when your big opportunity shows up? Then prepare in private, over and over, until your skills become second nature. When the spotlight finds you, you'll be ready because you earned it. And you earned it through the reps nobody saw. Final thoughts. Get bored, then get great. Here's your reminder. If the work feels boring, good. That means you're building something real, something strong, something that lasts. Success isn't about thrilling moments. It's about the steady rhythm of commitment. So embrace the boring work. Repeat the drills. Keep the promises. Refine your craft. Because the people who master the boring are the ones who become unstoppable. Chapter 8. Protect your energy. Let's be clear. Your energy is everything. It fuels your decisions. It drives your actions. It shapes your focus, your mood, and your momentum. If your energy is low, your results will reflect that. If your energy is scattered, your progress will feel chaotic. And if your energy is constantly drained by things that don't matter, you'll have nothing left for the things that do. That's why this chapter matters. If you want to go from zero to unstoppable, You have to learn how to protect your energy, like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. The hidden cost of energy leaks. Most people don't lose because they lack skill. They lose because their energy is divided. They say yes when they should say no. They scroll instead of sleep. They worry about things outside their control, and they stay connected to people, habits, and environments that drain them. It's not just what you're doing, it's what's pulling at you in the background. One small leak doesn't sink a ship, but many small leaks, they do. Who and what gets your power? Take a moment to ask yourself, where does my energy go each day? Who do I give it to? What do I waste it on? Are the conversations I'm having building me or breaking me? Is the content I consume fueling my focus or feeding my fear? Is my environment helping me grow or pulling me back? You don't just need time, you need powerful time. Time with focus, time with clarity, time with energy that's protected and directed. Real story, the burned out leader. Jason was running a startup. It grew fast, but so did his to-do list. His days were packed. His phone never stopped buzzing. His inbox was overflowing. He told himself he was being productive, but inside, he was burning out. He wasn't thinking clearly. He was snapping at his team, and worse, he had no time for his family. Then one weekend, he unplugged. No work, no calls, no noise. And what he realized shocked him. He didn't have a time problem. He had an energy problem. He started setting boundaries, blocked time for thinking, said no more often. And within months, not only was the business doing better, he was doing better. All because he finally made protecting his energy a non-negotiable. Energy is a daily choice. You don't control everything in life, but you do control your choices. And each choice either protects your energy or drains it. Here are a few simple but powerful decisions you can make every day. 1. Protect your mornings. Start your day with intention, not interruption. No phone, no chaos, just clarity. 2. Guard your environment. Who you spend time with matters. Energy is contagious. Choose wisely. 3. Eliminate unnecessary noise. Turn off the notifications. Mute the drama. Silence the things that steal your attention. 4. Rest like it's part of your strategy. Because it is. Recovery isn't a weakness. It's a weapon. The power of saying no. Saying no isn't rude. It's responsible. Every yes you give is a promise. And every promise takes energy. So protect your yes. Give it only to things that align with your purpose. If it drains you, pause. If it distracts you, decline. If it doesn't fit your mission, release it. You're not here to do everything. You're here to do what matters. Mental clutter, energy drain. Let's talk about your mental space. Clutter isn't just physical. It lives in your mind too. Unfinished tasks, unmade decisions, unresolved emotions. These things silently pull at you. They create friction. They slow you down. Want to reclaim your energy? Start by simplifying. Make the call. Send the message. Close the loop. Decide and move on. Clarity frees energy, and clarity leads to power. Daily energy rituals. Here are a few daily habits to protect and recharge your energy. Morning grounding. Start your day with 5 minutes of stillness. Breathe, think, set intention. Movement. Even a short walk can reset your mental state. Focus blocks. Work in short, focused sprints. Then rest. Don't multitask your life away. Evening reset. Unplug. Dim the lights. Let your brain wind down. Prepare for true rest. These rituals are small, but the impact is massive, because energy is cumulative. Final thoughts. Protect the flame. You are a fire, and fires need fuel. Every time you say yes to something draining, you lose a little of that flame. But every time you make a powerful choice, you add wood to the fire. You become brighter, stronger, more focused. You don't need more hours. You need more power in your hours. So protect your energy, filter your focus, and move with intention. Because your energy is not unlimited, but it is unstoppable when protected on purpose. Chapter 9. Learn, unlearn, relearn. The world is changing fast, faster than ever before. New ideas, new tools, new ways of thinking. And in this new world, the most valuable skill is not what you already know, it's how fast you can adapt. That's why in this chapter, we focus on a different kind of strength. Not just the ability to learn, but the courage to unlearn and relearn. Because growth isn't just about adding more. Sometimes it's about letting go of old beliefs, broken habits, and outdated thinking. What got you here won't get you there. What helped you survive yesterday might not help you thrive tomorrow. Maybe it was a mindset, maybe it was a routine, maybe it was a story you told yourself about who you are, what you're capable of, or what success should look like. But here's the truth. If you want to keep rising, you have to keep evolving. And to evolve, you must be willing to change your mind. Not because you were wrong, but because you've outgrown the old version of you. Learning is not a phase, it's a lifestyle. Some people stop learning after school. They believe education ends with a diploma. They coast on what they already know. But real growth happens when learning becomes a habit, a daily mindset, a way of living. Lifelong learners don't just grow careers, they grow perspective, they grow resilience. They grow into the person their future demands. The power of unlearning. Let's talk about unlearning, the part nobody talks about. Unlearning means questioning what you've accepted as truth. It means noticing the beliefs you didn't choose, the ones you picked up from culture, family, failure, or fear. For example, I'm not good with money. I'm just not a morning person. I can't lead others. People like me don't succeed. These aren't facts. They're scripts. Scripts written by someone else and played in your mind on repeat. Unlearning is the act of editing those scripts, erasing what no longer serves you, and rewriting what you now know to be true. Real story. The reinvention of Sarah. Sarah had always worked in retail. For over a decade, it was all she knew. She was good at it, safe, comfortable, but deep down, she felt stuck. She wanted more, but doubted she could start over. Then one day, she challenged that belief. She unlearned the idea that it was too late. She enrolled in a tech course, learned new skills, started freelancing on weekends. It wasn't easy, but she kept learning. She kept asking questions. She stayed curious. And within 2 years, she had a brand new career. She didn't just learn, she unlearned what was holding her back. And she relearned who she really was. Why relearning is the game changer. Relearning is different than starting from scratch. It's smarter, it's faster, it builds on what you already have. Think of it like upgrading your operating system. You're not throwing away your experience, you're just refining it, evolving it, sharpening it. Relearning is what helps you stay relevant. It helps you stay sharp, and it keeps you humble enough to say, I don't know everything, but I can learn anything. 3 ways to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Let's break it into action steps. 1. Stay curious. Ask better questions. Instead of saying, I already know this, ask, what else can I learn here? 2. Challenge your defaults. Notice your go-to responses, reactions, and beliefs. Are they helping you or holding you back? 3. Create a learning ritual. Read for 10 minutes a day. Listen to 1 podcast a week. Take 1 online course every few months. Small efforts, big growth. The mindset that resists feedback, that gets defensive when challenged. But growth loves feedback. It loves revision. It loves questions. You can be the expert in one room and the beginner in the next. Stay open. Stay humble. Stay in student mode. Because when you stop learning, you start declining. Final thoughts. Evolve or expire. The world is evolving. Opportunities are shifting. And the most powerful skill you can build is the ability to shift with it. So learn what you need to learn, unlearn what's slowing you down, and relearn what helps you grow stronger, sharper, and wiser. This isn't weakness, it's strength, and it's the mark of someone truly unstoppable. You don't need to know it all today, you just need to be open, open to growth, open to change, open to becoming more than you've ever been, because in this life, the fastest learner wins. Chapter 10. Build a system, not just a goal. Goals are great, they give you direction, they give you something to aim at, but here's the problem. A goal without a system is just a wish. Too many people set big goals, but never build the habits, structure, or environment to make those goals real. It's like wanting to win a race without building the engine. So in this chapter, we're not just talking about what you want. We're going to focus on what you're building, day by day, hour by hour, choice by choice. The truth about goals. Here's what nobody tells you. Setting a goal changes nothing. It feels good in the moment. It gives you a little dopamine. But unless you change your behavior, your life stays the same. You can write your goals on your mirror, post them on your wall, even shout them out loud. But if your daily actions don't change, the goal won't matter. Goals are direction. Systems are execution. The power of a system. A system is a repeatable process. It's the structure behind your success. It's what you do, even when you're not motivated. Let's break it down. A goal is to get fit. Your system is your workout routine. A goal is to grow your income. Your system is how you manage time, sell or deliver value consistently. A goal is to write a book. Your system is writing 500 words every morning at 6 a.m. When you build the system, you don't have to rely on willpower. You just follow the path you've designed. Real story. The musician who didn't wait for inspiration. Lena was a songwriter. At first, she waited for inspiration. She'd write one great song, then nothing for weeks. Then she created a system. Every morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., write. No matter what. Most days were slow. Some were frustrating. But she kept showing up. After 6 months, she had written dozens of songs. 3 of them became viral hits. Her success didn't come from the perfect idea. It came from the perfect process. One she could follow. Rain or shine. Systems create identity. When you stick to a system, you're not just working toward a goal. You're becoming someone new. When you work out every day, you become a healthy person. When you write every day, you become a writer. When you make smart financial choices, you become a disciplined steward of your money. Your identity shifts with your routines, and identity drives action, more than goals ever will. Why most people quit. People don't usually quit because the goal is too big. They quit because they didn't build a way to stay consistent. They rely on motivation. They hope for momentum. But hope is not a strategy. Discipline, structure, and systems are. When your system is strong, you don't have to force growth. You just follow the process, and progress becomes automatic. Building your system, 3 steps. Let's keep it simple. Step 1, define the outcome. Be clear. What are you trying to achieve? Example, lose 10 pounds, save $5,000. Start a podcast. Step 2, break it into behaviors. What actions support that outcome? Daily walk, weekly savings, 1 hour of recording each week. Step 3, create a routine. Lock it into your calendar. Make it visible. Make it real. Because a system that lives only in your head doesn't live long. One reason systems fail is because they're too complicated. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You just need to start small and consistent. Make the workout short. Make the writing prompt easy. Make the savings automatic. Stack small wins. Make success feel doable. Then build from there. Simple systems lead to strong momentum. Measure what matters. Don't just track the goal. Track the habit. Did I follow the system today? Did I complete the process? Did I stay consistent, even if it wasn't perfect? Because results take time, but consistency tells the truth. Progress happens when action becomes routine. Final thoughts. Build to last. Goals give you hope, but systems give you results. Anyone can dream. Few will design a daily process that makes the dream inevitable. So build your system. Make it simple, make it visible, make it part of who you are. Because when the system becomes the standard, success becomes automatic. Stop chasing outcomes, start building your engine, and let the results take care of themselves. Chapter 11. Stay humble, stay hungry. Success has a strange side effect. It can make people slow down, get comfortable, let their foot off the gas. But the moment you stop growing, you start declining. If you want to stay unstoppable, you need to protect 2 traits at all costs: humility and hunger. Humility keeps you grounded. Hunger keeps you moving. Together, they make you dangerous, in the best way. Humble enough to learn. No matter how far you've come, there's always more to learn. Another level to reach. A weakness to improve. Humility doesn't mean you think less of yourself. It means you stay open, teachable, aware that you don't know it all. The moment you think you've arrived, you've already started slipping. Stay a student. Ask questions, seek feedback. Because ego blocks growth, but humility unlocks it. Hungry enough to push. Hunger is that fire inside. It's what keeps you sharp, focused, obsessed with becoming better. When you're hungry, you don't wait for opportunities. You create them. You don't just compete with others. You compete with your last best self. And hunger doesn't fade when you win. It grows. Because you're not chasing trophies, you're chasing potential. Real story. The champion who cleaned the gym. There's a story about a world-class fighter. Even after he became champion, he stayed behind after practice to sweep the gym floor. Someone asked him, "Why are you still doing that? You've made it." He said, "I haven't made anything. I'm just getting started." That's humility. That's hunger. He didn't let titles change his effort. He didn't let praise change his preparation, because he knew staying at the top takes more than talent. It takes the same hunger that got you there, multiplied. The trap of arrival. One of the biggest traps in success is believing you've arrived, that you've done enough, learned enough, proved enough. But growth is not a one-time thing, it's a lifestyle. You can celebrate progress, yes, but don't confuse progress with permission to coast. Stay grateful, but never satisfied. Stay proud, but never passive. Because comfort kills momentum, and the moment you stop pushing, someone else passes you. Practice quiet confidence. Being humble doesn't mean being invisible, and being hungry doesn't mean being loud. There's power in quiet confidence. You don't need to broadcast your ambition. You don't need to shout your progress. Just do the work, day in, day out. Let results be your volume, because real confidence is silent, and real hunger doesn't need a stage. It just needs a reason. Signs you're slipping, and how to reset. If you're feeling too comfortable, ask yourself, when's the last time I did something that challenged me? Have I been seeking growth or protecting comfort? Am I still curious, still learning, still stretching? If the answer is no, don't panic. Just reset. Start with something small. Read a new book. Take a class. Set a stretch goal. Surround yourself with people who push you. Hunger can be reignited, but you have to choose it. Fuel your hunger the right way. Not all hunger is healthy. Hunger based on fear burns out. Hunger based on comparison turns toxic. But hunger rooted in purpose? That's fuel. That's fire. That's the kind that lasts. Don't chase success to prove others wrong. Chase it to become the best version of you. That kind of hunger doesn't burn you out. It builds you up. Final thoughts. Stay closer to the ground than the pedestal. No matter how high you rise, keep your feet on the ground. Remember where you started. Remember who you were when no one knew your name. Remember the grit, the pain, the work. That version of you, the hungry one. That's your edge. And never forget, the most dangerous person in the room isn't the loudest or the one with the flashiest title. It's the one who's humble enough to keep learning and hungry enough to keep climbing. So protect that mindset. Stay humble, stay hungry, and stay unstoppable. Chapter 12. The Compound Effect of Showing Up. Everyone wants results. Everyone wants progress. But very few are willing to show up every single day, especially when it feels like nothing is happening. Here's the truth. Success doesn't come from what you do once. It comes from what you do consistently. Tiny actions, repeated daily. That's the secret. That's the compound effect. And once you understand it, you'll never underestimate small steps again. What is the compound effect? The compound effect is simple. Small things add up. Just like money in a savings account, your habits earn interest. One workout won't change your body, but a 100 will. One act of courage won't define your confidence, but showing up every day, even when you're unsure, will. Success is not one giant leap. It's a slow build, a quiet accumulation. And the ones who win? They're the ones who keep showing up, even when results are invisible. Real story, the ice cube on the table. Imagine a cold room. There's an ice cube sitting on the table. You raise the temperature from 26 to 27 degrees. Nothing happens. Then 28, still nothing. 29, 30, 31, still nothing. But at 32 degrees, the ice melts. That final degree didn't do all the work. Every degree before it mattered. Everyone contributed. You just couldn't see it yet. That's the compound effect. Results may be delayed, but the process is always working. Why most people quit too soon? Here's the trap. We expect quick payoffs. We start eating healthy, and after 3 days, we check the mirror. We post content for 2 weeks and expect a flood of followers. We launch something new and expect instant praise. And when it doesn't come fast enough, we tell ourselves it's not working, and we quit. But the truth is, it was working. It just hadn't compounded yet. The world rewards patience, discipline, and commitment to the long game. Show up, even when it's hard. The compound effect doesn't require perfection. It just requires consistency. You don't have to crush it every day. You just have to keep showing up. There will be days when you're tired, days when you feel like it's not worth it, days when progress feels invisible. Show up anyway. Because every time you do, you deposit into your future. You invest in the version of you that's growing quietly behind the scenes. Success is hidden in routine. The most successful people don't have more talent. They have better habits. They show up when it's boring. They repeat the basics. They do what most people won't do, long enough to make it matter. They understand that reputation is built over years, and character is shaped in the trenches of daily effort. When you commit to showing up, you separate yourself, because most people don't. How to build your compound habit loop. Let's keep it simple. 1. Choose one habit, something small, something you can stick with. Example, 10 push-ups, 10 minutes of writing, 15 minutes of reading. 2. Track it, use a journal, a calendar, an app. Let your progress be visible. That builds belief. 3. Don't break the chain. Missing one day happens. Missing two? That's a pattern. Protect your streak, even when it's small, because momentum is fragile and priceless. Real progress is often quiet. The biggest breakthroughs? They usually come right after the moment you were about to give up. But you didn't. You showed up. You stayed committed. You stuck to the process. And suddenly, things started to shift. The call came. The idea clicked. The results arrived. Not because you got lucky, but because you stayed long enough to earn it. The identity of someone who shows up. Every time you show up, you send a message to yourself. I'm the kind of person who follows through. I keep my promises. I don't quit when it's hard. I do what needs to be done. That's where true confidence is built. Not in a single success, but in 1,000 silent choices. Final thoughts. Trust the process. The world doesn't reward the flashiest effort. It rewards the one who stays in the game. So keep showing up, even when it's quiet, even when it's slow, even when no one sees you. Because results don't come from one big moment. They come from hundreds of small ones, stacked over time. That's how you win. That's how you grow. That's how you become unstoppable. So don't wait for motivation. Don't chase perfection. Just show up again and again, because the compound effect is real, and it's working for those who refuse to quit. Conclusion. Your future is hidden in today's routine. Let's bring it all home. You started this journey, not because life was perfect, but because something inside you said there has to be more. And now you know there is more. More strength, more clarity, more power, more potential, already inside you. But unlocking that potential, that doesn't happen in big dramatic moments. It happens in your routine, the truth about success. Success is not a mystery. It's not reserved for the lucky, and it's not something you stumble into. It's built, brick by brick, habit by habit, choice by choice. And the blueprint isn't complicated, it's simple. But simple doesn't mean easy. You have to show up. You have to do the work. And most of all, you have to do it daily. Every day is a vote. Every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. Every time you follow through on your word, you vote for discipline. Every time you move through fear, you vote for courage. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you vote for purpose. Your life is shaped by these votes. Not in one day, but in many. Quietly, steadily, repeatedly. That's the power of routine. That's the power of today. The magic you're looking for is hidden in repetition. Want to change your mindset? Practice thinking better thoughts. Every day. Want to build confidence? Take action. Every day. Want to transform your life? Commit to small wins. Every day. Because the magic isn't out there. It's in here. In the next decision. The next block of time. The next disciplined hour. And once you understand that, you stop waiting. You stop hoping. You start building. Don't just dream it, live it. You've heard the ideas. You've felt the fire. Now it's time to apply. You don't need more time. You don't need more talent. You don't even need more motivation. You need to move. You need to act. You need to do something today, before the moment passes, because your future isn't waiting for next year. It's being written right now, by what you do next. You're closer than you think. One more choice. One more routine. One more day of staying the course. That's what makes the difference. Not perfection. Not luck. But the quiet decision to keep building, even when no one sees it yet. You don't need to rush, but you do need to be consistent. And if you stay the course, if you live the message in this book, you will not just grow. You will not just succeed. You will become unrecognizable in the best way possible. Final words. Be the one who decided. Most people don't change, not because they can't, but because they don't decide to. So let this be the line in the sand. Let this be the moment you say, I'm done playing small. I'm done waiting. I'm done doubting. From this moment on, you don't just have hope. You have a system, a mindset, a mission. You have the tools. You've done the work. And now you decide who you become. Let your routine reflect your greatness. Let your habits reveal your character. Let your actions speak your future into existence. Because the most powerful version of you isn't found tomorrow. It's being built today.